Howdy, today's another Oberon video. I think I made my Oberon look better than he did in the last video I did on him. I got a new skin, and it doesn't look too bad. He's still not like super aesthetically pleasing, but definitely looks better than he did before, so I mean, I'll take it, I guess. And then this is all the crap I've got on him, in case you're wondering. I do have the Bloodshed sigil on. This is the Syndana from Nightwave, and yeah, Bloodshed's the only sigil on him. So, the last video I did a build around Hallowed Eruption, right? This is the exact build, I believe, other than Arcane Blessing, probably. Around Hallowed Eruption and how you could use it to nuke stuff. Today, we're going to be nuking with his 4 instead of Hallowed Eruption. So... oh wow, I actually think I got rid of the build. Wait, shit. Hold up. Alright, so we'll start from the get-go, right, with this build right here. So, you obviously want good strength. Nice range is always good. We want primed flow. Where's primed continuity as well? Of course, equilibrium. Because his 4 ability, if an enemy dies to his 4, it's going to have a chance to create a health orb with a 50% chance of creating health orb, right? And I don't think that's affected by strength. Yeah, no stat affects that. But if you have equilibrium, that's going to help a lot with energy since you're making so many health orbs with your 4, right? Reckoning. Then we're also going to want some decent range. So we slap and stretch. For the Exilus, Surefooted is always a nice option. I've got Prime Surefooted, so you could do that. Though, if you're standing on hollowed ground, you do have knockdown resistance, status resistance in general, actually. So we won't care about that right now. Then we're going to want to put on Umbral Intensify. Then Transient Fortitude. Now, I know Blind Rage would give a lot of damage, but it just... our energy economy is too rough here, and our damage is going to be, for the most part, totally fine as is. So we don't actually need to worry about that. Then I would actually go catalyzing shields and brief respite here so that we can not die by using shield gate. And we don't pillage wouldn't work here because we are armor stripping with Reckoning. Reckoning gives armor strip, in case you didn't know that. Now, it does suck that I don't have my guy formed all the way correctly, but that is what it is. So finally, the biggest thing here, the most important one, is Hallowed Reckoning. This augment makes it so Reckoning gains 40% range, just to Reckoning specifically, and a 3-meter radius is created around each enemy that's hit by Reckoning. That radius is affected by range, and the damage it does is 300 per second, and that's affected by strength. Now that radius also gives bonus armor to teammates, which is also affected by strength. So right now, it would give almost 500 armor to teammates in the radius. And those can overlap, though they have inconsistent hit proccing, right? Like hit registration on enemies that are ragdolled. So if you're trying to pull them in with like Vazarin, keep in mind that it might not work very well. But that is similar to gas clouds, so we can make them overlap and do some very big damage. We are going to want to be able to armor strip in one cast, so Molt Augmented fits nicely here. Here we go. And then the other arcane is honestly up to you. You can run whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. I personally am going to go with Steadfast, though. So we are going to need 5 kills before we can full armor strip in a single cast. Roar is here because it gives bonus damage on abilities as well as weapons. It just increases the damage of everything. So first I'm going to show it without any viral application, right? Because you can go Panzervulpifilum, but we will not be doing that right now. First, we will just spawn them in. Now, the armor strip that is applied from your Reckoning only works if it's done to enemies that are on Hallowed Ground, so you have to cast Hallowed Ground first. That's not that big of a deal because, honestly, as Oberon, you're going to want Hallowed Ground to be active all the time anyways. So we're going to cast Roar, go in, cast Hallowed Ground. It's going to take 2 casts to full armor strip. And this is not while making them overlap or with viral. You can see the damage isn't amazing, but it's not bad. It's usable. This is 100% usable. So if you want to make it work, though, you're going to need some more stuff. Grouping to make them overlap, the little death zones, and viral so that they obviously take more damage because these are flesh type enemies like most enemies in the game are. And really enemies that aren't able to take viral damage are typically so freaking weak that you don't even need viral to kill them, so it doesn't matter. That's why we'll be adding in Panzerwolfephyla for the viral. And then for grouping, a nice option is Paracesis because it also applies viral as well as groups the enemy. So that is a very nice option. Yeah, this is a fine build, I suppose. This is just meant as for pulling and priming enemies with viral. So now we have that. We'll reset the enemies, cast Roar, go in, Hollowed Ground. We need Volpe to freaking hit them. There we go. Now we will pull them all in. It does some big PP damage. And then if you're standing in this, you also get the bonus armor, which is very nice. I don't know if the bonus armor stacks. That would be insane if it did, because then if you hit like 30 enemies and they were all stuck together and it gave 500 armor each, you'd be sitting at an extra 15,000 armor. I doubt it stacks, but it could. I don't know. But yeah, it does some very respectable damage, to say the least. And the more enemies there are, the more you can make the damage overlap, meaning you'll do even more damage. So I'm going to try to pull every single one of them in this time, like so. And we'll only cast it once. Look at that beautiful damage. It's glorious. And we're armor stripping, right? So we're helping our teammates out. This has a lot of range. What's our reckoning at? We have stretch and hollowed reckoning, which is another 40%, putting us at a comfortable 27.75 meters. That's pretty good range for an ability that can full armor strip and create health orbs. And it applies radiation and then makes the zones of death that also give bonus armor. It's doing a lot of stuff at once. I really like this build. I think it's really fun, a really fun way of playing Oberon. Seeing the little death zones everywhere is unbelievably satisfying. Like, it really gets that dopamine pumping. And, you know, Oberon's not bad in general either. He's not a bad Warframe. It's kind of hard to build for all of his abilities, and he could use a decent buff, I think. But I don't think he's bad, because Hollowed Ground has a really good range, applies radiation, gives status immunity to you and teammates that are on it. You can subsume over as one. Smite is a useful ability, actually. Smite's not a bad ability, but Roar is better here. So you can put the helmet on. Your passive is nice because it makes it so your companions can have way more health and shields, and it gives them your companion another instant revive with every mission. And then you can also give health and armor to teammates with renewal. And then if you wanted to remove one of the mods here, you could actually fit in Phoenix Renewal by getting rid of one of these. I don't know what you would get rid of, but let's say you didn't need Equilibrium, or you weren't doing endurance content. Sorry. If you weren't doing endurance content, then you wouldn't need catalyzing shields. And you could just health tank, health and armor, and use renewal. Then with Phoenix Renewal, you can give your allies an extra life, which is really nice. This augment right here is one of the best support augments in the game. Just having an extra life where you can't die is huge for teammates, because it applies to yourself and teammates. It's so freaking nice. I love this augment, and if you use this augment, your teammates will love you too. Very good build, very fun build. And yeah, I think that's about it. I still think Oberon needs a better skin, but hey, I guess more waiting until that happens. If I were to buff Oberon, I would just maybe rework how the range works and honestly how the grass looks on his hollowed ground, and increase the damage scaling of smites. Other than that, though, the only main problem Oberon has is that, well, armor and health just don't scale well. If they did, renewal would be so much stronger than it is now. Oberon is actually kind of a sleeper pick. if without even being indirectly buffed, if they just change a few things here and there in the game, he could actually become a really strong frame. Not quite like S tier good, but definitely at least like A tier he could get there, because he's got a lot going for him. Very, very good frame. So yeah, that's going to be it for the Oberon video, the second one. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, then leave a like and subscribe. That'd be very epic. Adios.